So here we are in the church office at Roehampton Methodist Church, and I'm here with Kathy, who's wearing her volunteer's apron. So Kathy, this doesn't look very much like a normal church office or vestry. Why is that?
No, well I've lost it to the food bank, which is a great privilege, so that's fine. We've got storage enough for supplies for about 2 weeks. For the people that will need to come and use the place. So there's a central warehouse, but we can actually store 2 weeks worth of stuff.
And what happens here on a Friday afternoon?
So on a Friday afternoon we come and set up, and then we're set up for 2 hours, just 2 hours at this venue for the food bank. Although Wandsworth Trussell Trust run them every day of the week in various parts of Wandsworth, but we're just Friday afternoon. And people can come here if they have a referral from somebody who's on the system, be that their minister or their doctor or their refugee agency that's supporting them or citizens' advice. As long as they have a referral, they can come and they can be offered food.
Okay. More basic question, what is a food bank?
So a food bank, they all run in different ways, but a food bank basically provides people with food who are in need, and they don't need to pay anything. They are given food when they need it.
And we as a church have given them this space to use as the storage space that they need. So what happens here on a Friday afternoon in terms of people come, and what happens?
People come in, our volunteers, quite a few of us are Christian, we're not all Christian, but the idea is that we're very welcoming, and people come in and they are offered tea and coffee and some very nice cake. There's a lot of good bakers out there, and they come in and receive a good welcome, and if they have a voucher they can then come into the system and be offered food. Sometimes they don't have a voucher, sometimes we have to organise for them to find a referrer so that they can be offered food. And sometimes, as happened on Friday actually, somebody will come in and they're not after the food bank at all, because a lot of what this is about is providing a safe, welcoming, loving space where people are listened to. So our team, there are 2 people who work in here and sort the food out, but there are ideally at least 6 people out in the church welcoming people. And the important thing is that we listen to what people need, and we have a lot of other things we can signpost people to if we can help. We have a dedicated Citizens Advice Bureau person who is also here on a Friday, who can have things referred to her, not instantly but much quicker maybe than going through the national system. But it's a listening ear. And it's a compassionate listening ear. So on Friday, I spent 1.5 of the 2 hours with somebody. They didn't have a voucher and they didn't come for food. They came for the listening ear and the prayerful response. Because I couldn't fix anything, could only really listen.
So it's not just about getting food. People aren't just given food. They have to be part of a system, and they are offered all sorts of help, lots of signposts. And why? What drives people to come to a food bank? Why do people come to a food bank?
Sometimes they just don't know where else to turn. We've had a lot of people recently who have literally started the conversation with, I've never come before, I never thought I'd be here. But this has happened, that's happened, this straw has broken the camel's back, this is where I couldn't cope anymore. And so the agency that I've been interacting with, Mental Health Help, have said, here's a voucher, go to the food bank. At least then you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from.
And what has prompted that in their lives generally?
It's all sorts of things. I mean, there's a lot of people have been living at just the level where they can cope, and then of course with all the fuel bills and everything, that's just tipped them over the edge. But sometimes they've had a crisis, sometimes they're a refugee and they've got no recourse to public funds. You know, if you're not European and you're not in the system, where do you go if you don't come for a handout? There is nowhere else to go.
And have you seen the effect of the cost of living crisis?
Yes. So a lot of the people that are coming now are coming for the first time and it's because they've just been tipped that bit further into poverty where they can't cope.
Now, last question, Kathy. Thank you so much for doing this. And you've already sort of answered the question, but why as Christians should we have given up our space to the food bank? Why as Christians should we be involved in the food bank? Why should we care?
Well, Jesus would have cared. Jesus came to bring relief to the poor, to release them from the bonds that poverty puts you into. Because a lot of the people that come, yes, they've come for food because they need food and that might help a little, but there's so many other complex needs that are going on at the same time. And I mean, your heart just goes out to them. I've heard so many heart-rending stories. There's relationship difficulties, there's problems with housing, and all you can do is, well, you can hopefully signpost them to somewhere, but really all you can do is listen in the love of Christ and share that moment with them and offer them some sort of solace.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Kathy, and I hope that's helped us all understand a little bit more about our food bank.